I lost my booth with the closing of the painted tree this week, and we found a mouse in our camper. So I decided to create a masterboard with inspiring words. And you will see that this project really worked because I get really super happy and I really had a lot of fun with this. Hi, I'm Christine, the artist behind our list of designs, and I'm happy you're here. Welcome. Hi everyone. I am so happy to be back. And I've got a really cool project. So today I went through some magazines that Bob gets from work, and there's not a lot. I mean, there's a few things that I would cut out for collaging, but there's a lot of car stuff in here that I probably will not use. So these magazines are great for words and letters to go in my letter container. And so I just went through, oh, that's a good one. Let's take that. I just went through and took some words that I thought would be cool. And today I'm going to create a master board using inspiring words. This has kind of been a reset. I'll tell you about my week. We went camping. Well, camping. We have a spot on my friend's property where our camper is right now because we had termites a year ago, and Bob did not want the termites to eat our camper. So we went up there to check on it and do a little work around the place and to help. And yeah, I'm missing I'm all jacked up after this past week. I know I missed a lot of videos. I missed the whole video from last week. But I think I'm going to do honoring the heart. But when we came back, and I had another little surprise when we came back, I'll tell you about that. I just had to do a complete reset. But first, before we get started, I'm going to put a little tape down here because this is making me nuts. The paper's curling up, and it will stop doing that once I get glue and some weight on it. But I'm going to put a little piece right there and a little piece up here just to keep it from doing that. So today, because of this whole reset, I decided that it would be cool to make a master board using just words, and then I will gesso over them, allowing some of them to show, some of them will get covered up. But as I was planning this project, I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I did this with intention? So I looked for words that were inspiring or, you know, whatever words I thought would be good. And I have, from that magazine, I have very large words. I have large words, medium, and some smaller text here that will probably mostly get covered up, but I like to have just random writing. So let's get started. I think I'm just going to use my glue stick today because I think it'll be easier. I got to find my glue stick. Here's one. Now, like I've said in the past, I have very bad luck with, and by the way, the lighting here, I'm still working on the lighting, but you'll understand after I tell you these two crazy stories and the reason why I went MIA for a little while. I'm just going to glue these down randomly. Anything that I feel that is my intention, or, well, I had some black paint on this, but hopefully let's get some alcohol and wipe that off. Anything I feel, you know, like I said, is part of my life right now, inspiring intentions. And you don't have to do that. You could just put random words. It really doesn't matter. But I'm feeling inspired today. So we went to go take care of the camper and got up there. And I was like, we always set off a bug bomb when we leave. And I go in and I wipe everything down when we get there. Honoring the heart. That's what I want to do with my art. Let's leave that for now. Anchor. Anchor's a good word. I'm going to anchor this art career in my future. for my future. We're sticking with it. So I was cleaning up and I was like, wow, there's a lot more roach poop than I've ever seen before. We don't keep food in our camper. We'll just leave some stuff in the refrigerator and the freezer. But I don't leave any food in the cabinets. And we never see any bugs in our camper at all. If it sits for a long time, sometimes I'll see one or two. Let's set this aside. I don't know. Oh, more. More is a good word. One will get in here and there and then die. So I never see anything live. I rarely see anything dead. And this time I saw a lot of roach poop. So it's quite large roach poop. It's like, wow, these are big. Where are they? What happened here? And I just thought they had some really cold weather up in. Now I'm going to do some upside down too because I have no idea which way this is going to be cut. So I cleaned it up. I wiped everything down and I thought, well, that's really weird. I don't see any dead ones. And we went to sleep that night in a nice clean camper. And the next morning we did some thrift store shopping. Oh my gosh, this place that I go to, it's a little family-run thrift store. And it used to be an old house, so there's rooms and rooms and rooms of stuff. So here, brand for my brand. We're branding. And the last time I went, I found a box of, this is when I was really just kind of playing around and getting started with collaging again. I found National Geographics. I want to express myself, and I'm going to cut this in a little, although it may get covered up. I'm going to cut this little arrow. And I thought it was going to be really expensive. I went through it and picked some favorite ones out and went up to the counter, and it was so cheap. Bob went back and got the rest of the box and brought the whole box up. And it was $5. For, I would say, probably about 25 National Geographics. So I went back again this time, and there were no national... Were there? Oh, that's part of the story. Okay, so I went back, and I literally cleaned them out of magazines. I took an entire box of magazines, and then there's this one room where they keep all the vintage stuff. I walked in, immediately I saw a box of National Geographics. So I grabbed it, took it up to the counter, and Bob says, how much for this stack of magazines? And it was like, I would say, I don't know, maybe 50 or 60 magazines, all different kinds. And he's like, what about $3? I was blown away, and so then I was bracing myself for the National Geographic, and he said, oh no, he said $2 for the magazines, and then he said $3 for the National Geographic, and it was another maybe 20. I couldn't believe it. I was so excited. So I came home with tons of magazines, and I'm super excited to start going through them. So we go back, I'm all excited, I'm ready to take my magazines and go through them. So I went and I opened up there's a little drawer underneath my bed where I keep a lot of craft stuff. And, oh, this is a good one. Let it flow. We're going to let the art flow. And I always keep everything in sealed containers just in case, because, you go to all different campgrounds. You never know what's sitting there waiting to get into your camper. But before we left last time, I just took out some stuff from my thrifting, and I had gotten some sewing patterns, and I just took out one nice folded sheet and left it in the drawer. Well, when I opened up the drawer this time, it was shredded, and it looked like roaches had just devoured the whole side of the always looking for topics. That's a good one. The whole side of the tissue paper. And I was like, you know, it's just so weird that I don't see any bugs. And then I realized this might not be a bug. Not a big rat or a big mouse, because they were tiny little droppings. But I was like, oh my gosh, I slept in this camper last night. I was absolutely mortified. I ran outside to tell Bob. He came to look at it. Yep, sure enough, that's what we think it was. And then I opened the drawer next to it with Bob's. We keep all the camper paperwork and everything next to it. And there was a nest of tissue paper. Let's see. More time fixing. I guess that's a good one. I don't know. Or how about just we need more time. Well, I like that. More time for fixing. That's good. Everything doesn't have to be meaningful. But you see where I'm going with this. So, my entire break where I go and reset and just think about things, and I take artwork and I just create, and it's so peaceful and quiet. The whole weekend was taking apart every single cabinet and drawer, which was terrifying, by the way, because I was ready for something to nibble my hand as I reached in places or jump out at me. I just was like constantly thinking the worst. But we didn't find anything, and my camper is cleaner than it was when I bought it. So, you know, there's always an upside. And I still was quite nervous going to sleep the next 2 nights, but I turned the lights out. I waited for nibbling or scratching or whatever, and then finally, after I got the first night under my belt, I was okay. So I'm pretty sure that whatever it was probably got in there looking for a warm space to sleep. And since there's no food or water, we dry everything down and wipe everything down before we leave. It probably just went in there to sleep and then left. And then Bob got underneath the camper and foamed and taped everything. So that's that story. Delivering quality. I like that. Delivering quality products. That's good. I want to do that. So I came home, needless to say, completely exhausted. We came home Monday, and I was gonna, well, my intention was to make my last Monday video, the masterboard video, while I was up there, but obviously we just did not have time to do that. So then my plan was, I'm gonna come home and knock out a masterboard Monday. I'll just think of something really simple to film, quick, just to give you guys a little, you know, something for the Monday video. And our friends had been in Fort Lauderdale for the Tortuga Festival, and they were supposed to be going home on Monday, but we got a message on the way home, hey, we stayed an extra day, we want to take you guys to dinner. And we don't see them very often, so of course we were like, oh, that's cool, okay. And I thought, all right, well, maybe I'll just make my Monday video late. So I'll do Monday video and Tuesday tips on Tuesday. So we went out. We had a really nice time. We ate at YOLO, which is, if you're in the Fort Lauderdale area, is amazing. Great atmosphere, great service. It was just amazing. And then we went to the hotel, Harborside, and sat and chatted for a little while before we came home. So I was kind of glad that it didn't turn into an all-night affair, because I really want to go to Thailand one day, so I'm going to take this and put this in this. So I was really glad, because these two boys, Bob, and his name is James, his friend, our friend, and Crystal was here with him. And these two boys can go out and stay out all night. I don't know how they do it. Just like all night long. I'm not like that. I need to be in bed at the latest 11. I've done it. I always say we go out sometimes to remind ourselves that we just can't do that anymore. I'm only referring to me because I don't know how Bob has. Everybody that knows Bob, he go 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 constantly. Delivering quality. So I was really happy that they didn't decide to pull an all-nighter. And it was a lovely adult evening. So I decided, okay, Tuesday, I'll do that. It'll be fine. You guys will understand. You're also kind. And I'm doing the best I can. But I'm still learning. I'm still getting used to, like I've said before, I would really love to get to the point where I'm so far ahead that I just click the publish button and nobody even ever knows that I'm behind. So Tuesday, I'm sitting on the sofa drinking my coffee. I got up, I cleaned a little bit. Okay, I need to remember to check my microphone because I just went through the whole story about the painted tree and realized that my camera had gone, my microphone had gone out. So I have to try and look up and be sure that that doesn't happen. So anyway, Tuesday, I woke up, I was drinking my coffee. My mother called and said, "What's going on with the painted tree?" I don't know. I was just looking at the camera and there's people in there shopping. And she said, "Oh, well, I heard it's closing." I'm like, "What do you mean it's closing?" There's people in there, so it must be rumor. And so I turned on the camera. People are still in there. And then the camera goes out. And so she's like, "Well, you should check your email." So I did. I opened up my email. Sure enough, a few minutes earlier, I received an email from the corporate office saying that all locations across the country were shutting down immediately, and you have 10 days to get your stuff out. Well, I had appointments throughout the day and needed to stay home. So I could not run out, not to mention the fact that I needed one of the boys, my son-in-law or Bob or, friends, whatever, to take my slat board down. Ooh, navigate change and accelerate your success. This is good. So I called Bob. I let him know. He says, "Okay, well, I can't go till Thursday." I called my neighbor Katie and let her know because she was also in the painted tree. By the way, I will put her link in the description below. You should check out, I believe she's got an Etsy. I'll check out what link she wants me to share. I don't think she has a website, but I'll double check and at least put her Etsy link in the description below. So she was like, "Oh, thank you," because I wouldn't have seen that right away. So she went over the next day, and I told her, I said, "I just have to cross my fingers and hope for the best because I can't go over there right away." And thank God for Katie. She went over there to clear her stuff out, and she said, "I just couldn't leave your stuff there." So she got all the inventory she could, which was pretty much everything except for a very large painting and my displays. So I had things that I hung things on and baskets and stuff like that. So she wasn't able to get all that stuff, but I was so happy to get the things that I spent so much time creating. I felt so much better, and I owe you big time, Katie. You are the best. So everything worked out. Bob went over there on Thursday, like he said. He took down the slat wall. He took down, pretty much, he took down everything. And he said it was chaos. And it was almost completely empty. So that is a little change of plans that I did not expect to happen. And I was so disappointed. I felt so bad because I was really excited to get in there. And remember, I only opened my booth in November. And I was hoping for the best. It didn't go as smoothly as we had hoped. I made a decent profit for a new booth in December, and I still have not gotten paid for December. So I had started noticing people talking about payments getting held up, and but I was on such a low level that I was like, all right, it's not that much money. I'm not going to stress. I'm sure everything will get worked out. If not, when my lease is up next year, then I'll leave. Yeah, and then when that happened, I realized it seems like they kind of knew. I don't know if that's true or not. A lot of people say that they were just holding out and collecting as much money. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't want to say that about people I don't know, but it is rough for some people who have thousands of dollars invested and owed to them. I feel so terrible. I am, sometimes things happen for a reason, and I learned so much by running a booth. And thank goodness I didn't sell a lot of stuff. And my plan is to start listing. I don't know, some of you might, aftermarket homecoming. Some of you might know that I've struggled with my website, and I've recently made some improvements, and I think I'm ready to start listing stuff now. So I am going to start listing everything that I had in my painted tree booth on my website. So keep an eye out for that if you're interested in some of the things that I've created. Because now I have to figure out how to make an income. I'm not working right now, so this is my only form of income, is what I'm creating here on YouTube, but also my website. And then I have some, want to turn inventory? Yes, I do. I really, really do. All right, I forgot what I was saying, but my plan is to list all of this stuff. Oh, another plan is these Monday masterboards. I always turn them into something like tags and stuff like that. So one of the things that I would like to do is take some of my jelly prints and my tags that I create and journaling ephemera and package them and sell them as sets. So for instance, those collage tags that I did, I will probably put those together and sell them as a set. So if you like some things that you see me create on this page, always check in my storefront on my website and see if they're there for sale. Now it's going to take me a few weeks to get this stuff listed and kind of get that rolling, and I will update you along the way. All right, so this is looking pretty good. I'm going to do some of these smaller ones. And you know what? Let me go through my little word box here, and I'll come back and show you what I've picked out. Okay, I think I got some good ones. I've got angel on my shoulder. And whoops, I want to get that there. Let's put that there. I've got well balanced. Oh, I'm getting sticky fingers. My microphone went out again. So you missed a few, but that's okay. We're not gonna sweat it. Let's see. I'm gonna end up kind of going over some of these because I didn't expect to do a lot of larger ones, but let's see. Fetching finds. Always love fetching finds. I'm going to soar. I work for you. So, as you heard, it's been quite, move over, quite the week plus, but I have a really great outlook moving forward. Is this the cheesiest thing you've ever seen in your life? It ain't easy being cheesy. 360 of interactive rotation. I don't know what it means, but it sounds good to me. We're doing a 360. We're turning that frown upside down. And the next level will be even better. I promise you. Oh, and you know what? I totally did not expect this. Oh, that sounds so very AI of me. I didn't expect this. Have you noticed that on people's let's see. I can't pick anything up. Have you noticed that on people's titles or thumbnails? A lot of people saying, I didn't expect this. This didn't turn out the way I thought. It's such an AI response to what should I name this video? Oh, gotta love it. Like that, what is that M dash that you see in all the AI writing? Where was I going with that? More experience, that's what I need. A lot more experience, and you're all on the ride. I'm gonna need wings. I was trying to tell you before, and I completely forgot what I was just telling you about with the, I didn't expect that. Oh, I know. Okay. First, let me say, I've tried to say this a couple times, and I don't even know if it was when my microphone cut out or not, that I don't have luck with glue sticks, but I am going to go over this with gesso, so I'm not really worried about this stuff sticking down. I'm going to glue other things on top, and wow, I really don't have any space for any wings here. Let's do this. All right, sorry Thailand, but you're there. The intention is there. So I'm not too worried about the glue stick situation. I'm going to cover all of this, and I'm sure it will all stay down. Growth. I need wings for growth. Now, back to what I was going to tell you before. Oh, I didn't expect this. I was so stressed out. I feel so bad when I'm all over the map and I don't get a video out because so much is going on. That's my number one goal right now is, I mean, of course I want to have quality videos, but the first thing I need to get used to is being consistent. So I am really hard on myself when I am not consistent. And I was like thinking the worst. Live healthy. Everybody's going to delete me. I'm not going to have any subscribers. But I have to say, you guys rock, because not only, I mean, I did lose 2 subscribers initially, which what set off my my anxiety about losing what I've worked so hard for and finding my tribe and being inconsistent for you guys, because I don't want to do that. So, that made it worse, losing 2 people. But then I gained I got those 2 back. So I don't know if it was actually 2 people that unsubscribed or if it was just a reset. Sometimes, it can give you some false numbers and then it resets, the algorithm resets itself. And, but I've continued to build and gain subscribers. So I'd like to say, welcome to the new people. And for those of you who did not unsubscribe when I missed a week, thank you so much. I appreciate it more than you know, because I really, really want to keep the imagination station going. It ain't easy being cheesy. Did I say that already? It's like a, what do you call that? An earworm? Is it? Stuck in my head. So I really appreciate that. And for the new people here, welcome to the show. Thank you, people. I'm in a very happy mood today because I'm so excited to actually. Oh, and so here's what happened. But wait, there's more. So because I had to, now those of you who have been here know that I have my daughter and my granddaughter living in my house, which I believe they are moving out. My daughter found a place, and I'm not sure if she signed the lease yet officially, but I believe they are moving, and it's good. They're moving right down the street from my other daughter, who also has 2 children, Carson and Kylie. So that'll be fun for them to live close to each other. And they're a little further away from me. I'm going to go over most of it because you can still see through, but then I'll let this dry and go over it again and kind of cover up some more parts of this. And then we'll see where it goes. I might go in and do a little something different on top of it. I don't know, but let's just play and have fun. So because I had to clear out my painted tree and I live in a tiny little house with lots of people in it, I had to make room, and I need to have things neat and in order to work because I get very stressed out if things are chaotic and there's too much stuff around me. So one thing led to another. Once he brought everything in, I had to start reorganizing my art room. And I don't know, a couple hours into it, I thought, you know what, I got to go for it. And I just unloaded everything all over the house. Everything from my art room got taken out and dumped in my dining room and living room area. And I started going through drawers and cabinets, and I mean clearing out my art room like I've never done before. And I got serious about what projects I wanted to keep and complete and which projects I know I'm likely never going to get to. So I did throw some stuff away, and I decided to move out of my art room a little bit and set up a little storefront in my house, in my office area, which when I'm done, I'm not completely done yet, I will give you a little tour of that. And I ordered some new bins. That's why I'm not going to show it today, because I'm waiting for the bins to come. But the reason why I did that is because I need to list all this stuff on my website. I thought it would be good to have everything easily accessible. And I'm going to take a little of this off because I want to see that. All right, now you can still see all of the words, but I'm going to let this dry because what I want to do is come back in with another layer. And I'm thinking maybe I'll glue some more words down before I do another layer. So I'm going to go and let this dry, pick out a few more words and get ready to glue those down. And then we'll do this again and see how that comes out. But to finish the story, I am reorganizing everything, and that will be in a later video. I will go back and show you my new setup in my art room, which I'm extremely excited about. And so that'll come when everything's done and it's ready to be shown. So let me go dry this and I'll be back. All right, I decided to take some little scraps that I had left over from one of the masterboards that we did together. And I'm just going to fill in some spots. I'm not really loving that these words are just, you know, I don't know. I'm just filling in. I'm just experimenting, so we'll see what happens here. And I did switch to my Mod Podge. Someone asked me about my homemade Mod Podge. I don't use homemade Mod Podge. I just pour it in I buy it in large amounts because I use so much, and then I pour it into a container, but I usually water it down a little bit because, as you can see, I open up the container and it stays open for a while, so it will thicken. And also, I think that sometimes I think that when I water it down a little bit, it goes on a little smoother. It's just a little easier to work with. Now, there's some projects that I will use the straight Mod Podge and not water it down, but in this case, a lot of times I will water it down. So, there you go. However, because you asked that, I am curious. I know that some people do make their own glue mixtures, and I want to know all the things, so I will probably look into that, and I will report back when I get a chance. I really do appreciate the comments. I would love to eventually get a group of you together. Let me know in the comments if you would like to be part of a club or membership or something like that. I need to get ahead of myself so that I am absolutely sure that I have time to stay up on that if I'm going to start a group like that, like a Patreon or a membership here on, for members only. For you serious people who want to know and kind of guide me in the things that I do. I would love to get a group together where we do sessions and we can chat and get to know one another, and I think it would be easier for me because one of the hardest parts for me is coming up with ideas. Although, when I'm not trying to come up with an idea, I have more ideas than you can imagine. My brain is constantly going, but the second I turn the camera on, or the second I try and sit down and figure out what my video is going to be, I just completely blank. And I do write it down, but then sometimes I go back and I look at what I've written and I'm like, what was I thinking? I have no idea what I was rambling on about in my journal about ideas of things to do. So anyway, and I learn so much from other people, so I would love to do that. That's why I love this whole process of creating a career out of something that you just love to do so much. And those possibilities are endless. Okay, I like this better. And I realize that when I start to cut these apart to make tags and ephemera, that you're not going to see a lot of these. But, it's kind of like starting a painting and writing your intentions on the canvas before you paint over it. So, there's that. I'm going to go right into my gesso. And I'm going to do another coat. And the reason I'm not letting this dry now over these is because as the glue dries, I'm just going to go random and go. As the glue that I just laid down dries, it'll crack a little bit. And I like that. It's magic. So sometimes I do that. And I'm thinking I'm going to go get my tissue paper and do a little layer of tissue paper. I have writing, which I think would be cool, and I think polka dots would be cool. I love my polka dotty tissue paper. Okay, to finish this off, I've got some newsprint and I have some polka dots. And I'm just going to go in. Oh, there needs to be a little more glue under there. I'm just going to go and randomly distribute these. And this is why I wasn't really concerned about the glue stick, because I knew I was probably going to end up putting some tissue paper down to fill in everywhere. And I have a little bit of this kind of more of a vintage newsprint. I did glue down a couple while I was waiting for this to dry. I had a few more pieces of paper on my table and I stuck those down real quick. Now, this masterboard is not going to look like much when I'm done. It will just be the background for another project. So you won't get to see the full effect until I go back and cut this down and use it. But it's just another way to use up some of your scraps and create a really cool background for other projects. As you know, if you've been around for a while, I like to pre-make stuff like this to use in projects. So when I have an idea, I can choose from the masterboards that I have, and that part's already out of the way, because sometimes if you try and create a masterboard specifically for something you're creating, it doesn't always go well. But if you pick up something and you are inspired by something you already did and you're ready to go, yeah, it's just convenient. And I love doing it. You can see I keep changing my mind. Put the glue down, the whole thing's so wet. It's going to take a little while to dry. So yeah, sometimes the masterboards look great. This one's not going to be one of those at the end, but come back because I will take this a step further, and I don't like to do it on the masterboard video and continue because it would be so long. And sometimes I don't even know what I'm going to do with them. I just have an idea of how I want to create a masterboard and I go with it. And then the project from it comes later. So I'm just filling in a lot of these little white boring spots because, you know, like when I do cut this up, I want there to be something everywhere. And even though I've already put down this black and white polka dot, I'm still going to glue over it. And you can see that you can still see them. I'm not even worried about where I put this stuff down because I want it to be very layered. And what wants to show itself will show itself. And when you cut them up, it's always a surprise. You know, there'll be some things that I really didn't want to cover up that get covered up, but then as I cut my projects, you always find little surprises. So this is about it for this Masterboard Monday. Please do come back and see what happens to this. I think I know what I want to do. And you will probably be surprised at how this chaos turns into magic. And I will try and do that really soon. I am going to try Thursday to, like I said in a previous video, one of my subscribers, one of our tribe, Kathy, wanted to see the full Glowforge process, and I intended on doing that last Thursday, but I'm going to try and get on that because what I'd like to do is I have some ideas for some new quotes, and I want to get those created, so I figured that's the perfect opportunity to walk through the entire process and also get it done at the same time. So let me put another little piece over here because I want some of this vintage paper on this side. So there you go. And let me just, hold on, let me get my little template so you can see what it might look like cut up. Okay, so there are lots of things that you can do with this. Oh, look, there's heart right there. And let me zoom in a little bit. So I could go through and choose backgrounds for ACTs or ACEOs. I could also do tags. How cool would that? Okay, I'm probably gonna have to cut that one out like that. And you know, sometimes I just slice them up randomly, but this might be one of those times that I have to just go in and move my templates around. I may, and if I do, I will either go back and show you what I did or I'll film it. I may go back and do another wash over this, depending on what I decide to do with this. But I just think, you know, it's going to make a cool background, and I might catch some of these words in there. And of course, you know, the intention is behind it. Yeah, and then little tags. So I could do this, I could do that, I could do the best. Okay, that's it for today's Masterboard Monday with intention and the stories that go along with what led me to do an inspiration masterboard. This is fun. It's not a, you know, one of those beautiful masterboards that stands on its own, but masterboards usually aren't. They're meant to be cut up, and sometimes I like to leave them a little bit plain like this because depending on what you do, you might want to go and slice them up and then stamp on top, or maybe cover it a little bit more with paint or gesso. Again, I'm really happy that I have the support that I have. You guys rock, and welcome to my new subscribers. I think you're going to like it here, and we're happy to have you. So that's it for today. I hope you have a really crafty and creative week, and I will see you tomorrow for Tuesday Tips. Thanks for watching.